Okay, so let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? That sudden, hot, overwhelming feeling of anger that just takes over. Well, what if you had a simple, powerful, and yes, science-backed toolkit you could pull out right in that moment? That's exactly what we're going to build together in this explainer step by step. First, I want you to get this number in your head, 90. This is for something called the 90-second rule. See, from a purely physiological standpoint, the chemical rush of an emotion like anger, it only lasts about 90 seconds in your body. That's it. So if you can just ride that initial wave without reacting, you open up this crucial little window where you get to choose what happens next. You know, for years, we've all been taught about anger management, but what if that whole idea is actually part of the problem? Let's try flipping the script. Instead of trying to suppress or control anger, what if we just got curious about it? What if we started listening to it? At its core, anger is energy. It really is that simple. When we think of it as something we have to manage, it feels like this problem we have to wrestle into a box. It's restrictive. But when you start to see it as energy, suddenly a ton of new possibilities open up. We can start to ask, hey, what is this energy trying to tell me? Where does it want to go? This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It comes from the world of art therapy, where the whole point isn't to get rid of a feeling, but to give it a voice, give it a shape. Viewing anger as this raw energy lets us channel it into something meaningful instead of just trying to bottle it up and hope it doesn't explode. So let's get practical. How do we do that? The very first and maybe the most powerful tool in our toolkit is something you might have heard called rage journaling or a paper sprint. We're going to call it the write and release method. It's an incredibly simple, evidence-based way to get immediate relief. The whole process is just 3 simple steps. First, you get it all out. Grab a piece of paper and just write. Don't worry about grammar. Don't judge it. Just let the raw thoughts and feelings pour onto the page. Second, and this is absolutely the key, you physically destroy that paper. Rip it, shred it, toss it. And third, you just pause. Take a breath and notice what's changed inside you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds a little too simple, right? Just throwing paper away? But the physical act of getting rid of it is backed by some really fascinating science. Let's dig into why this actually works so well. So check this out. In a very recent 2024 study from Nagoya University in Japan, researchers found something pretty incredible. People who wrote down their angry feelings after being insulted and then threw the paper in the trash or shredded it didn't just feel a little bit better. Their anger was almost completely gone. And here's the data to prove it. This is what's so cool. Look at the disposal group on the left. Their anger levels shot up, but after they tossed the paper, their anger dropped right back to baseline. Now look at the retention group, the folks who kept the paper. Their anger stayed high. That physical act of letting go, it made all the difference. So, what's going on in our brains? Well, it's a cognitive mechanism called grounded separation. It's a fancy term for a simple idea. Your brain literally connects the angry thought to the physical piece of paper. So when you get rid of the paper, your brain reads that as a final physical resolution. It's like, okay, problem solved, it's gone. And what's really amazing is that this isn't some brand new discovery. Modern science is actually catching up with ancient wisdom. This idea has roots in practices like the Japanese festival of Hakita Shisara, where people literally write their troubles on clay discs and smash them. We've intuitively known for centuries that this works. Okay, but what about those times when you're so angry or overwhelmed that you can't even form a sentence? You know that feeling? That's completely normal when emotions are running high. And don't worry, our toolkit has other options for exactly that situation. You see, when your nervous system goes into that fight or flight mode, the language centers of your brain can kind of go offline for a minute, and that's okay. The goal is still the same. Get the energy out of your body. We just need to find a different path. Which brings us to a fantastic and honestly kind of fun technique from art therapy, scribbling. Seriously, just grab a marker, a crayon, anything, and just go for it on a piece of paper. You're not trying to draw a picture. The whole point is pure, unedited expression. You're bypassing the thinking mind and going straight to the feeling. And here's a cool little tip. Even the size of your paper can make a difference. If you're feeling a ton of rage, a big piece of paper lets you use these huge, sweeping arm movements to get it all out. But if you're feeling more chaotic and out of control, the small, defined space of a sticky note can actually feel really grounding and safe. Another amazing tool is a physical sprint. See, anger floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. It's getting you ready to fight or run. So let it. A short, intense burst of movement, sprinting in place, doing some quick push-ups, even screaming into a pillow, it burns off all that chemical fuel. The goal isn't a workout. It's just to complete that stress cycle. Okay, so you've used one of these tools. You've gotten that peak energy out. The storm is starting to pass. So what's the next step? This part is crucial. Now we have to actively help our nervous system come back to a state of calm and balance. You've successfully discharged that fight or flight energy. Now it's time to intentionally activate its opposite, the rest and digest system. This is the part of your nervous system that sends the all-clear signal to your body, letting it know the threat is over and it's safe to relax. And one of the simplest, most powerful ways to do this is with box breathing. You can do it anywhere, anytime. You just trace a box with your breath. It's an easy 4-step cycle. You breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out through your mouth for 4, and you hold at the bottom for 4. And if you're wondering if this really works, well, this technique is absolutely battle-tested. It's sometimes called tactical breathing because it's literally used by Navy SEALs and other elite forces to stay calm and focused in the most intense situations you can imagine. If it works for them, you can be pretty confident it'll work for us. So once you've used these tools, you've cleared out all that intense static, and you've calmed your system down, you're left with this amazing opportunity. Instead of being drowned out by the noise of anger, you can finally hear its message. Because anger is almost always a signal that a boundary was crossed or a value was challenged. Now that it's quiet, what is yours trying to tell you?